Thanks to Brilliant for supporting my channel. So, when I originally set out to make this video, I was going to make a 6 months later style review of my 2021 M1 MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip and talk about essentially whether it's worth buying if you're a machine learning researcher or developer. And then I tried to write this script and realized that I don't really develop ML systems on my laptop. Like, I code on my laptop, but when it comes to actually training and running inference, I use my department's cloud system because it's one, way faster, and two, doesn't require me to leave my laptop on all night. And so for me, what actually makes the M1 Max chip useful is for this. It's for YouTube. It's for making videos. I research these videos, I script them, I film them, I edit them, I make the thumbnails, I upload them. It's a one-woman project at the moment. And so anything that can help me expedite that process is at least worth me trying it out if I can afford it. And so this is all to say that this is still a 2021 MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, 10 months, not 6 months later review video, but it's going to focus a little bit more on whether or not I think it's worth it as a PhD student and someone who makes internet content than as someone who works with machine learning and finite element modeling, because at the end of the day, I'm not really using the M1 Max chip for things like that. And so if that's the kind of work that you're doing, then there are better systems to do it on and you probably have access to them. To give you a sense of what my usage looks like on a day-to-day level, it's usually running about 8 million programs at the same time and having 1 million tabs open in Chrome and Safari at any given time, and at least 10 of them are probably Reddit, which I know consumes a lot of energy. There's also a lot of writing, so I'm on Google Docs, I'm on Microsoft Word, I'm on Scrivener for novel writing, I'm on Notion for content-related writing, but I find that my old laptop could handle that pretty well, so I don't necessarily think that having a higher spec laptop has made a huge difference in my life. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I think that a lot of the benefit of this laptop on a day-to-day level, for me at least, comes from the ecosystem. So it comes from being able to airdrop things from my phone to my iPad to my laptop. The interconnectedness of the Apple ecosystem is just really, really helpful for me, especially from a content perspective, because it means that I can shoot something on my phone and then use it on my laptop 2 seconds later, and then I can airdrop it to my iPad to edit a thumbnail and then send it back to my laptop with no real issues. I'll also say I thought about getting the larger screen one, so I have the 13-inch one, I think, or the whatever the smaller one is, and I'm glad I went with the smaller one, especially as a grad student, but also someone who makes content on the road a lot. I'm currently in LA, so if you hear airplanes in the background, apologies. And so because of that, for me, having something that I can just like throw into my bag that isn't super heavy, that isn't super big, is really important. And I do really love it for that. And I think that between the size of the laptop and the functionality when it comes to like editing and rendering things, it ends up being a really good balance compared to getting like the 15-inch, which I could have a much bigger screen to edit on, but it would also be more of a pain to like work on a flight. So the other main thing that I do on a day-to-day basis when it comes to this laptop is video editing. I primarily use Premiere. I also occasionally use DaVinci Resolve. Both of them take a lot of memory when you use them. And so when I was originally using my late 2020 M1 MacBook Pro, I definitely saw a sizable increase in how fast things rendered, which was fantastic. I think I made a video on this in the past, so you can check that out for the specifics, but it went from a 10-minute video taking a half hour, 20 minutes to a half hour to fully export to it taking maybe 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. And with this laptop, it now takes about 5. So it's definitely been an upgrade from my 2020 M1 MacBook Pro. And I would say for me, that's worth it, especially since I think since getting this laptop, I've also switched to filming in 4K for the most part. I think for this one I might not be, but when I'm using my normal camera, this is my vlog camera, I'm normally filming in 4K. And so being able to render something out in 5 minutes in 4K especially on the go, has been such a game changer. In terms of the battery, I think that this was one of the things, especially in my initial review, that I really mentioned liking about this laptop. And so it's been interesting to see that evolve. So after 10 months, I'm now at 93% battery health. So my battery charges to 93% of capacity. And that was a lot faster than I was expecting. And I do also feel like the battery life has gotten noticeably worse since I got it. So I used to be able to go 2 or 3 days without charging, still using it, 9 to 5, no issues. And now I can probably use it 9 to 5 for a day, but by the end of the day, I am going to need to plug it in order to use it the next day for a full day without having it plugged in. So I have definitely noticed the battery life decreasing somewhat, but it hasn't been a huge deal breaker for me. I'm usually near an outlet. And it does still get me through the day, which is something that I could not say for my old MacBook Pro, so I'll take it. One of the most important things, cost. Was it worth the amount that I spent on this laptop? So first, let's go back and actually see how much I spent on this laptop, because I don't remember. All right, so I spent $3,500 on this laptop. I also got the Apple Care program because I've had too many issues with past MacBook Pros breaking for weird reasons, and it would have cost me a lot more money to replace them or get them fixed if I hadn't. That includes the M1 Max, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of storage, and then all the stuff that normally comes with the laptop. I would say, especially if you are a grad student, and then a quick roundup of other things that I've just noticed over the last 10 months of having it. So one thing I've noticed is that Safari will just glitch sometimes, and it won't load pages if I don't restart it every call it twice a day-ish. I'm unclear whether or not this is an OS issue versus a hardware issue. I'm guessing it's an OS issue, but it is still very annoying. Chrome does work consistently. I haven't had any issues like that in Chrome, so when something doesn't load in Safari, I just open it in Chrome. Similarly, I have definitely noticed over the last month or so, programs starting to lag and freeze a lot more. My OS is updated to the most recent one, so it shouldn't be an OS issue, but I also don't know what else it would be. So that is something that has been a bit of a problem. As a content creator, as someone who makes more money from content than I do from grad school, I think that this was worth it. I could also totally understand someone not buying this or not being able to afford it. And I don't think that it's a laptop for everyone, especially if you're not doing video editing, video rendering, anything like that. I think that if you're similar to me, even if you are working in machine learning, where most of the work that you're doing in that is on some remote server, and otherwise a lot of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis with this laptop is browsing the internet, streaming, writing stuff. I think that in that case, a MacBook Air probably makes a lot more sense. It's more portable, it's a lot cheaper. So I don't think that this is necessary for the average person at all. However, if you are a video editor, it can be super helpful. But if you do want to design the next powerhouse machine learning computer and you don't know where to start, I would highly recommend checking out Brilliant, who are kindly sponsoring today's video. Brilliant is a visually stimulating and interactive tool for STEM learning built on the principle of active problem solving. They have an ever-growing catalog of courses in math, science, and computer science that are designed to help you gain an understanding of STEM topics in a low-pressure environment. As interesting as I find learning about the inner workings of my laptop and how it relates to performance, computer architecture was probably my worst class in undergrad. But luckily, Brilliant has a great class on computer memory that I was able to take while making this video in order to refresh my own memory. And if you're worried that you might not have time, don't worry. Their courses are broken down into bite-sized sections you can learn by doing whenever you have time. To get started for free, go to brilliant.org/Jordan or click on the link in the description, and the first 200 people to use my link will also get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. You can check out my other MacBook Pro reviews up here. You can follow me on my various socials down here, and otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.